If you're struggling to beat press man or simply can't find any rhythm on offense in college football 27, you just clicked on the perfect video. Today I'm breaking down the complete guide to the Washington State offensive playbook with the best money plays, one play touchdowns, and red zone offense that'll have you scoring on every single drive. I will warn you though, if you skip out on just one of the 5 plays I'm breaking down today, it could be the reason you're still getting locked up every game, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. Let's jump right into it. The first thing any great offense has is a bomb to push the defense back and open up the rest of the game. Let me show you the best one here from this Washington State playbook. Alright, so this play here is going to be double post halfback corner from Gun Bunch X Nasty. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to put RB on a shriek, we're going to put B, or we're going to stem B's post up one time. So he's already on the post, you stem it up one time, and then you block your tight end. Alright, so really just 3 adjustments there. And really what you're going to see is you have to read the defensive line. Certainly, one-play touchdowns are great, but it's like sometimes you don't have actually time to throw. So that's why, again, I say it's very important that you read your line. I see that I have plenty of time right here, and so I'm going to be able to throw that pass down the field and actually bring it in. I probably should have waited just a second longer, but sometimes it's like you're just feeling the pressure and you want to get rid of this ball, though. Like, I have a perfect pocket right here. If I wait a little bit longer, I have more time to be able to get this ball out over here because this outside third is getting sucked down and moved to the outside by our halfback corner route. So, like I said, I mean, it's open right there. You could easily throw it, pick up like 40 yards, but I'm going to spy out the pass rush here just so I can show you what it looks like when you have all day to throw. So that's what we're going to do. Again, shriek the point man, block the tight end, stem the post up one time to the B receiver with the D-pad. Now I take the step all the way up in the pocket, and now you're going to see how I have that easy pass lead over the top, and hopefully you'll be able to green catch that to guarantee the catch. But now it's just an easy gain, or sometimes a touchdown, especially if you're closer to the end zone. But the biggest thing is, even if you're plenty at the pass rush, obviously, but a lot of people do like to send 2 in this game. So step all the way up in the pocket to make it harder for this inside third to be able to recover. And he's just going to stand here because he has to worry about this shriek, and this isn't really his assignment. So you're going to be able to get that ball up over the top of him for a really easy gain down the field. Now, it's still going to be able to beat cover 2 because what we know about cover 2 defenses is a lot of users, they like to user this mid-read. And so they're going to take him off the field, and so they don't get back there and guard that deep post with their user. Right now, that's going to be a very easy gain for you down the middle once again. So, same route concept, take the snap, step up in the pocket, and now we're once again going to have that pass down the field, and we're going to be able to green catch that to guarantee that our receiver doesn't drop it by using timing-based catching. So we take a look right here. If this is their user, let's just say they came down to maybe guard this return route, that would leave the middle of the field wide open against cover 2 because you have a shriek. Then you have a corner out to the running back, which, as you can see, moves this deep half towards the sideline. And that's truly what opens up the middle of the field for us right here to be able to throw that pass, for an easy gain. Also, though, understand that if they do decide to run cover 2, right, so we'll put them right back in cover 2, and they do get back there, like, I'll just leave the mid-read on the field. That's where it's like now you want to go through your read progression and actually recognize that that post isn't going to be open now, and so you need to be able to throw this return route, in the middle, and you're going to be able to get to the sideline, especially if they're cloud flat backpedal. That's going to be a really easy gain for you. So this play, double post halfback corner, one of the best one-play touchdowns here in the game to be able to beat every defense, especially zone coverage defenses. Cover 3, you have an easy pass lead. Cover 2, the middle of the field is going to be wide open, but you also have your checkdowns available for you, if they decide to take everything away deeper down the field. So start using that play to start games, open up the rest of the game for you, and it's really going to be hard for them to stop. All right, the next thing every good offense has is the easy play when you need an absolute big game. Let me show you the easiest play to utilize here from this Washington State offense. Alright, so we're going to come into pistol, we're going to come into bunch X nasty. Our play here is going to be halfback zone. Pistol runs right now some of the best runs for you to utilize here in this game because they have faster handoff animations, you're closer to the line of scrimmage, and it's a lot of the time just easier to pick up yards. So what we're going to see is I'm just going to hand this ball off, we're going to have them in a random defense, and it's really important that you just pick the right gap. A lot of the time, like right there, they were kind of overloading one side, so that was kind of tough to run on. But you're just going to see how that opens up an easy cutback lane. Now, clearly, I'm using Washington State here. They're not the best team, I would say, you know, with talent-wise, but it's like if you're using like a higher-level team and road to the CFP, like you unlock this playbook, or, you know, you decide to, you know, use a team in Dynasty, although you're able to see how that time I'm able to make some guys miss. I've used this guy in road to the CFP. He actually is kind of agile, even though he really doesn't look like it. But really all I'm doing is kind of just picking my gap. Right, I'm just picking my gap, deciding where I need to go with the ball. But what you're going to notice when you're calling this run is you actually have a faster handoff animation. Whereas, like, if you're calling just a regular stretch run or runs from other formations, it's going to be a little bit slower for you to actually get the ball to your ball carrier. But here, it's going to be faster. And so what I'm telling you is you want to make sure either you're using, like, a gadget package, you know, even with Washington State, like this dude number 0 would be great to get the ball. So that's actually what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to put him at running back just so you can see the difference and how good this play is when you actually have like a real, you know, gadget kind of player who actually is really agile. And so typically your gadget player is going to be your fastest, most elusive guy. But right here, it's like now I know that he's like 95 speed. You know, he's going to be super great for us at this spot. But now you're going to be able to see I'm just speed boosting around. And so my two best runs have been when I actually put him at running back in the game. So this is something that you can use this play really anywhere in the field, but even if you're going to use it in the red zone, you want to make sure you're using the gadget package to be able to get your fastest, your most elusive ball carrier, you know, at the running back spot so that you can get the faster handoff. You can speed boost your spot faster, which the speed boost is something that, look at that. Like, just look at that cutback ability. I'm sorry, number 9 was just not doing that for me. And that's sometimes all the difference between picking up, you know, 4 yards, losing yards, or ripping off a huge 20-yard scamper. So the biggest thing with this is stay patient with a run like this. Continue to go to it, especially if you're in the red zone, anywhere in the field. Play the averages game, because this is going to be one that's going to be really tough for them to stop. And as long as you can speed boost, you can spin, you can do a lot of that stuff, this is going to be a play to make offense really easy that you can go to time and time again. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of the Washington State playbook helpful in college football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this for you guys every single day, so you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your offense from this absolutely insane playbook that can run, pass, score in the red zone, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab my brand new Washington State offensive ebook, where you can use code YouTube to get 20% off. It goes to the full videos, screenshots, write-ups, everything you're going to need to dominate an offense here from this Washington State playbook. Macros are included, and you can save everything to your phone. So what are you thinking? Transform your offense today at the link down below in the pinned comment, and let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down the best man-beating play that you need to be using right now on offense from this Washington State playbook. Man coverage is really, really good, and if you can't beat it, you're going to have a really long year. Let me show you. Alright, so our play here is going to be divide X whip in. Alright, and so I'm recording this video the day after the patch here where they fixed timing-based catching, made these windows really small to be able to green down the field. So that honestly makes man coverage even better, because it's harder to just go up and teabag people because the green window was so massive. So again, like I said, this makes man coverage even better, and it's why it's even more important that you have plays like this to be able to beat man. But what we're going to see, this play is going to be really hard to contend with and for them to contain because you have so many options. First read is going to be the tight end drag, honestly, which you wouldn't necessarily think this is a man-beating route, but this is, you can't put your tight end on a flat route when he's attached to the line of scrimmage like this. So it's like this is going to run faster than like an out route and be able to get to the flat sooner. Although if like look at their play art. If the defender is already lined up outside of him, which you're just looking at their alignment on defense, that's how I recognize it. If he's already outside of him, you're probably not throwing that. But if like this linebacker right here, Brown, if he was manned up on the tight end 23, that would be an easy completion for you out there to the flat, especially if they're not using point combo. But what we're going to see right here is, again, it's going to be guarded, but the corner route is now the route that you're trying to look for and you're trying to find out there. The corner route is a sharp corner. So it's, if I were to hot route my receiver to a corner, I'm not saying he couldn't get open, but it's going to be a lot more challenging for him to get open because this is a stock route that you can't find in a lot of other plays, especially just by hot routing. But again, we take the snap. That's again what I'm talking about, where if that defender's lined up inside of him, you can typically throw that tight end flat for an easy gain, although you're going to need to get a better rack animation than I did right there. But again, we take the snap, they're in cover 0, or excuse me, they're in cover 2 man where they're shaded underneath, so it's going to be even harder for us to beat man. But that's again where pocket presence is going to be so important for you. But again, boom, take the snap. We see it right here. That time I should have just thrown the ball away. And that's another example where got to be ready to get rid of the ball. But really what we're going to see right here is we're going to take this snap and we're going to see how our corner out to that receiver creates separation. But that's another tough thing, is if they're going to run cover 2 man, they're going to have an additional safety over the top. But we're going to see right here, if the quarterback lane is open up the middle, you take it. And also, like if you're using Washington State, for example, this quarterback, he's a running quarterback, so he's not going to fumble. But again, you're going to see right here where I'm just going to take off, and then I'm going to be able to slide down the open field for an easy gain. So really, this is going to be a play where these routes in this game, they can beat man. There's no such thing as routes that beat man every single time in college football 27. It's just going to be about going through your read progression to see, does this route beat man on this play? You have your X receiver, your RB receiver, and your B receiver. Those are typically your guys that can actually beat man. Although, like I said, if they bump or they, lose bad leverage, right, you can just hit that tight end flat. But really just go through the read progression with this play. You have a whole bunch of million routes at your disposal, and you really just have to go through your read progression with all of them to see, do they beat man on this play? And then, like, that time the speed out gets open for an easy completion, and then hit it if it does. And if everything breaks down, just decide to step up and take off with your quarterback. But divide X within one of the best stock plays, no hot routes necessary, and you're going to be able to demolish man coverage. Alright, before I jump to those final 2 plays here from this Washington State ebook that you're absolutely not going to want to miss, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down college football 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and I'm the only one that's going to be doing it all year here on YouTube. So you don't want to miss out on any of these insightful breakdowns and free ebooks. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button today, and let's jump right back into the video. Alright, next you're going to need a quick snap play to be able to snap the ball as fast as possible, especially on the road, and not give the defense any opportunity to adjust. Let me show you what that is. Alright, so our play here is going to be mesh traffic from Gun Bunch X Nasty. Now, this is going to be a really great quick snap play for you to be able to beat man, beat zone, which is really what this entire ebook is predicated on. But the macro for this is actually in my ebook, which I recommend you do set up the macro just so that you can press LB and then B. But all you're doing is putting you're putting RB on a curl, you're putting B on a flat, and then you're going to put your tight end on a corner. So this is what it's going to look like. And now we're going to take the snap. And again, we're going to make sure that if we see they're in man coverage, we're taking off with our quarterback if the lane opens up. The biggest thing that I can tell you guys is this, and all of my schemes really, they're based on quick snapping and not reading the defense. We do not want to read the defense. We want to call everything beaters, plays that we believe can beat every single defense in the game. And this is going to be one of them to be able to do just that. You see how that running back cross flat is going to do a great job of getting across the formation and beating man coverage. And then you're able to see how even if they're in zone, it's going to be open again. Unfortunately, my line is not doing a great job here. But we're going to put them in cover 3 just so I can show you why this works. And then we'll take a look at the replay. But we're going to take the snap, and you're going to see how this running back is going to get to a great pocket right there and pick up a first down almost every single time, especially if they don't use it. The reason why is because this is such a great route concept. Our flat route is going to push the flat zone outside just like this, and then the running back is going to come and fill this area right here for an easy completion. think about, them having to defend a running back across the formation, attacking the opposite seam. They don't really think about that too often, and it's going to be pretty tough for them. Again, that time it's zone, and so we're able to get to that pocket, especially if they're blitzing you. That's normally where the blitz comes from, and so that's a great area, that's going to be really challenging for them to defend. Again, running back here, cross flat, look at that. I mean, that's a huge gain down the field, and depending on the running back that you have there, you might even score, and that's another way for us to beat man, which is why I tell you guys, you don't actually need to read the defense. You call the play, read it after the snap, you see it's clearly man coverage, and so then you just find your running back who's normally pretty reliable. He's manned up on a guy who's like lined up right across from him, but yet he's still able to get this boost off the line, beat him across the formation, and then I'm able to freeform it for a huge gain. So it's going to be really challenging for them to be able to defend this play regardless of the defense they're in, because think about it as well, if they run like cover 3 hard flat, now you're tight end corner out. You can step up here and then throw this tight end corner out there for an easy completion, green catch that, juke that man out, and pick up a huge gain. So it's really going to be, this is really your quick snap play, but it really could be an everything beater here because you've seen it against so many different coverages, and now you're able to see how the tight end is open. Boom. I could really step up, throw this curl for an easy gain, boom, and then if they don't have hard flats in the field or like they don't shade down, I can certainly throw this running back out of the backfield for an easy gain. So simply go through your read progression, first looking for your running back, then your tight end, and then your curl in the middle, and this is going to be a play that can attack every defense, and it's super fast to be able to set up. Alright, the final thing that you're going to need to master here on offense from this Washington State playbook is actually having a great red zone play to be able to score touchdowns in the red zone. Let me show you what that play is. Alright, so our play here is going to be RPO alert out from gun bunch Y flex. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to put A on a flat, and we're going to snap the ball. It's very simple because this is going to be one that's going to be extremely challenging for them to defend, especially if you're getting the ball to your best receiver, your most elusive guy, because then you can speed boost if it breaks down there. But really the flat route, the reason why this is so good, we're going to look at the replay, is how this will actually get defended, specifically when they're in man coverage. What happens with this man defender, it's this guy that's guarding him. He's lined up right across from him, right? Really what you would assume is 2 blockers, right? And then they have 3 players to stop this. But the way that this works is he gets bumped all the time, and then he tries to shoot the gap and take a horrible angle. This will happen time and time again because it's not like if you think about basketball, he either has to go under the screen and try to meet him like right here at the goal line by just running in a straight line, or he has to like shoot the gap and go under all of these picks. And so that's what he does, but he gets bumped. And so it just makes it really easy for you to be able to get out to the sideline and just score easy touchdowns. And so if they're in zone, it's like now Hawkins, the B receiver, has to get out there and block that guy. But honestly, he typically does a good job of that. That's really just a horrible pass from my quarterback. But it's like if they're in man, especially when they're in man, which is what a lot of people for some reason in this game, they like to run. It's like this is going to be just a pitch and catch because he's pretty much going to bump almost every single time, and you're really going to actually force them to adjust and play some sort of other coverage that's not man. But again, right here, they're going to be more zone, and so I'm going to throw it again. Unfortunately, again, we miss our block. Now, if you notice they're in zone, like right here, they're going to be in man again. So if they're in man, I'm just going to throw it. He's going to get bumped like every single time for an easy gain. If they're in zone, you want to make sure that you're untargeting one of these guys. So again, this is going to be man coverage again. You can also throw that on the opposite side of the field, the out route that really wasn't the most open. But if they take away the flat like they're in zone, like right here, they take away the flat in zone, you could throw the out, although I don't think the out's going to be open here. But you can also like untarget some of these defenders. Like if you untarget the outside corner and then, or actually no, that wouldn't make any sense for you to do. But if you like untarget the linebacker, like especially if they're in zone, like I'm going to put them there in man here, but I'm going to put them in like cover 2. If you untarget this linebacker or the safety, now you make it easier for your guy to end up going and blocking that outside corner. So we're leaving the linebacker untouched. Now again, that's really just a horrible rack animation, which you can't necessarily control all the time, but you're just able to see how easy this is going to be in man. I think every time they've run man, the guy's bumped, and so that just shows you how easy of a play this is. Obviously in the red zone, you're going to have your run plays, you're going to have your pass plays, and when they give you, like if they're running like mid blitz or they're running in cover 0, they've been running it all drive, and you can catch them in that same coverage down here in the red zone. This is going to be a great play for you by just don't leave the bubble. Like if they run man, like the last thing I'll say is if they run man, you leave the bubble, you see how easy this is going to be for them to defend. Every time they've run man, I've scored a touchdown except for that time because I leave the bubble. So make sure you're utilizing the flat so that the guy will bump, and then it'll just be an easy pitch and catch out there, especially when they're in man. But scoring touchdowns in the red zone is super important, and this is going to be a great play to help you do just that. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of the Washington State offensive playbook in college football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys win more games, regardless if you're playing Dynasty, Road to the CFP, cut, it doesn't matter. I've got it all covered all year long. And if you're serious about transforming your offense and dominating on offense with this Washington State playbook, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab my offensive ebook, which includes full settings guide, custom adjustments, videos, screenshots, write-ups, everything you're going to need, and it's super easy to follow along with because you can save it on your phone during gameplay. So what are you thinking? Grab that offensive ebook today at the link down below in the pinned comment. And if you want to see the defense that pairs perfectly with this from the 4-2-5 man pressure playbook, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.